Donkey Kongs for you and your friends, and you can be on your way. But keep in mind that there are only 2 to the power of 32, or 4.3 billion different seeds. By 7 random selections, we're at 25 to the power of 7, or 6.1 billion possible options. Thus, not every chain of 7 characters is even possible. If all of your friends get suspicious and ask to re-roll their characters, your plans will be foiled, as there's no seed which gets you 7 consecutive Donkey Kongs. At most, your first 2 friends can get the 5th and 6th Donkey Kongs in the chain, while your 3rd friend is guaranteed not to, and might get Mario or something. Even though not all chains of 7 characters are possible, some duplicate sequences still exist. But, by the time you get to 9 characters, those are all gone. Think about that for a second. With just 9 random selections, we can know exactly which of Melee's 4.3 billion seeds we're at. And from there, we can trigger a precise amount of random events which will get us to a seed that's useful to us. This is called RNG manipulation, and it's completely legal because the game itself is unmodified. We're only using information the game gives us to change its state to another legal state. In fact, a player named SaveState even wrote a bit of code which does the calculation work for you, and proved that it worked by using it to briefly take the world record in another RNG dependent category, All-Star Mode, where he set the RNG seed in a way that would give him an ideal lineup of opponents. Compare that to a ROM hack which makes random select always give you Donkey Kong for your Donkey Kong Jamboree, which is after 7 selections not a valid game state. Of course, this only applies if the RNG seed is not incremented by anything else. I also glossed over some of the nuances, so I do recommend watching SaveState's video if this topic interests you. This is a potential topic for me to make another video on as well. Anyway, the important bit is that RNG manipulation can also be used in Peach's Break the Targets. Since we know how the RNG function works, we can find the next seed that hits the 1 in 128 chance to pull an item, and then figure out which seed comes after that to find out which item it is. And we can see how many random selections it'll take to get there. Done properly, this will guarantee that if you start a run by pressing down B, you can pull exactly the item you want. Viewers with particularly good memories will remember that I mentioned earlier that there's only one way to pull a sword, and that's to grind for it. This is true even though RNG manipulation exists, because we specifically need to pull a sword on the second pull, and RNG manipulation only lets us manipulate the first. This is because Peach's animations also cause RNG calls. Pulling a turnip, running, floating, attacking, unfloating, throwing a turnip, jumping, using her up B, and landing, aka literally everything that happens between the first turnip pull and the second, call the RNG function for sparkles, dust clouds, and so on. The number of calls also varies and is dependent on the exact frame the player presses each button, so effectively we lose control over the manipulation as soon as Peach starts doing anything. But the important bit is that a guaranteed first pull opens up a whole new route. Not with the turnip, but with the first pull Bob-Omb. See, floating is slow, so throwing a turnip at the lower target saves time over going there to hit it yourself. In the same way, throwing a turnip at the far left target also saves time, but there's only one item that can hit it through the wall, a Bob-Omb, which actually only explodes when it touches the floor, not a wall. And unless you know the Bob-Omb is coming, it's impossible to plan for it. But if you know that you'll get a Bob-Omb every time you start a run, you can save some time. In fact, you can save more than half a second over the itemless route. I developed what I'd like to think is a human doable route that maxes out at 9.31 seconds, which, if you've been keeping track, is faster than the current world record. Now this could be valuable because it completely removes the RNG element from Peach's run. This is a trade-off, not a free record though. In exchange for removing the 1 in 768 chance of a sword, you do need to spend a minute or two between each run to reset the seed, which may prevent players from getting into a rhythm, and the already tight execution is definitely harder in one spot. So instead of working on a new route, some players have recently been attempting to optimize the current world record route, or at least to break the 10-second barrier with swords of their own. Some even tried to beat the